Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM22 Dragons. This is episode number 4. We are into season number 2. Let's quickly break down the team and just how much better it is than 1 year ago. First off, on the surface, the evaluation alone, you can see a serious upturn from where we were. For one thing, we've got about 4 riders more than we had a year ago, but last year's squad was this or worse. 2 stars, had been the best rider we had. Now, right at the end of the season, Wee Song Chua, he hit 2.5 stars. He was the best rider last year, and he was one of our ones on a multi-year deal. So he's actually back. He's still with us, and you can see just how far down the list he is. All of these guys above him are new signings, every last one of them. From this group, the majority, we had like 3 2-star guys at the start of the playthrough, maybe a couple 2-star guys at the start of the playthrough. So they made significant gains. The majority of them are all 2 stars now. We had 4 or 5 guys that were no stars at all, and now the worst rider we have is a full-blown 1-star kind of guy. It's progress. Now, those guys aren't going to hardly race at all. It's these guys we're going to be racing with. And as a team, only a single rider has a 70 flat rating. Only a single rider has a 70 plus mountain rating. We have very few things. We have one stat that really stands out, and that's Oscar. Oscar has a 75 sprint, and he's also got that 70 flat, also a 71 acceleration. He is the closest thing to a star that we have, closest thing to somebody who is going to start grabbing wins on, merit compared to other riders. But what also stands out, though, is acceleration is definitely our best stat. And we do have a proper lead-out rider in Chen, and that's going to start leading to things. We have one climber. We have one backup sort of neutral. If you remember from the last episode when I was going through, I had 9 guys sign, and that was the best low-high, best potential and or best current ability riders. I took 3 additional ones, and what I had noticed was we mostly had sprinters out of those 9. So the 3 additional riders that we ended up signing up, I took 1 mountain guy, I took 1 punchy guy, and I took 1 stage racer type of guy. So we got a little combination of climb ability to help diversify the squad a little bit. And have, you can see he's actually a neutral guy. He's a 68-68. And that was the third one that we brought in, and the only rider that I brought in on less than a 3-year deal with a 2-year deal signed for him. So we've got 11 guys locked up for 3 seasons beginning now. This year we have 7 expiring contracts, and there's a 99% likelihood that none of those 7 will be retained and replaced, and we'll once again be looking for 10 to 12 riders to sign in their place, assuming that we are still in minimum salary kind of territory, outside of a couple of exceptions. We should be theoretically only increasing our expenses by, I would estimate, probably 15 to 20,000 from where we're at right now, and we already came in below with about 55K spent this year and a 71,000 limit, but of course staff matters. But following the end of the year, and especially since we started collecting the new pay structure, we had a nice jump, and we're up to 250K in the bank. So finances are getting in a better state, which means I think we can close in a little bit tighter next season on the limit. For next season, that limit stands at 85K, assuming that we are able to get that super success through the national championships easily like we did last season. So that's an increase of 14K, but we were only spending 55, so we'll have about 30K of wiggle room. And assuming that we're only going to, we have the 7 out, we have 7 coming in at similar salary to replace, plus 5 additional guys with a couple making 2 to 3 making more than minimum. Maybe it's more than that next season. Maybe we'll be able to afford 4 or 5 guys making more than minimum. But if that's a 20,000 increase on top of 55K, then we're looking at 75K out of an 85K budget, which is just enough to keep us affording staff, meaning we should be able to, for the second year in a row, grow the team significantly in terms of size and keep it quite affordable and get all or most of those guys signed up on 3-year deals once again. A manageable set of sponsor objectives. I think we're going to have another very, very quick season, possibly with only one feature race. That's going to be the Slovenian Istria in March. We're talking about, big objective. Top 10 is the aim, and even though it says it's punchy, getting through these climbs on the earlier phase means it should come down to sprinters at the end, and so we have a stronger sprint team than we have other things. So we're going to look to perform well at the Slovenian Istria. If for some reason we are reaching the signing period and not yet maxed out on sponsor confidence, then we'll pick up a second race, which is the Castilla-Leon, and that's our biggest race of the year, and it's just before the signing period, late in July. We need a top 5 on a 2 sprint stage race. Again, sprint races are our strength, so I think we can pull off a top 5 there if we took control. Recap of the overall goal progress thus far. In that first season, we had a single nation with an improvement. That was Kazakhstan, going from a 5-3 up to a 5-5, and that has remained true throughout that first season. So as we enter season 2, all of the other nations, and then that one that did hit 5-5, all remain exactly the same. One difference from last season to this season is that our scouts are going to pick up a +1 bonus to their knowledge because they are now experienced in scouting each of those regions. We're also going to pick up other bonuses as we go along. For example, in the East, we have bonuses because we have 2 points thanks to the following riders being a member of the team, and then we also have the headquarters within that region. So as we're picking up decent riders from these regions, the scouting is going to get better and better, and hopefully we're going to start finding some quality riders. Race day conditions are a bit negative compared to what was expected, as we actually prepared pretty heavily for this race. This was the only objective that I jumped in and said, okay, we need our best guys, let's set them up, let's get after this one. In the meantime, our other major objective of the year was already a success. We needed a stage win, got 2 of them, our only 2 wins of the season so far, and in that it was Oscar winning both. But Oscar, the main guy that we prepared for today, and actually I only set the objective for 3 of these riders. No, it was 4 to 5 riders, but either way, we are heading into this one with 143K to go now. We'll have not a great race day condition for him, but Oscar is well set. We're looking at 75 flat, 79, 75 sprint. That's excellent for this level. So I think he can do quite well. And the objective, well, it's a rather easy one, just a top 10 target. Looking at somebody like Zhu, he is a decent lead out kind of guy. Let's find if we can pick somebody else like Lahav. There's your obvious to go ahead and protect the team leader, the sprinter. Kayama is also somebody who looks like he's probably our primary lead out guy. Got a couple other options definitely up and down. Novar Dianto okay with the sprint part, but his flat rating is not great, so we'll go ahead and use him to protect, what was that, Kayama, right? Yes, that's your lead out man, and then probably Tran, but I think we're good with just those 2. Go ahead and up the effort. We're through the first phase now. We've got 4 laps on this circuit before then you go into a short lap, 3-lap finishing area, it looks like. Late, this little set of climbs is going to be the one that's going to do some damage, I think. because the first four, the big hill that we navigate, that we're about to hit here as you turn left and then go up this hill, it's 9%, sure, but it's so far away from the finish that I do not think we are under much threat of this climb, taking its toll on non-climbers, on the sprinters, on Oscar in particular. So we should be able to get through that. But because that area just before we hit that one, and it's definitely steep, and it comes at you fast with no real rest on the descents, it comes up a bit later. That's the one that I am worried about having an impact. But with 91k to go, let's go ahead and get water for the first time. We'll get it with one of the guys that's not in. Oh, hello, Chen. You're a 72-72. I did not see that. Let's go ahead and get you protected, and then take the other guy as we're going up the hill to go get water. 113 in the peloton, 12 in the break. I believe that was at 13 not long ago, which means they are pushing at a pace that is seeing some of the riders disintegrate, and that gap's already coming down. Two riders trying to attack and get clear, but they failed to do so. And at our 77 pace, we are struggling to hold position. We're going to have to up that a bit more. Push it to an 80 now as we head up the final time up the lengthy hill with a couple riders going clear and the first rider getting dropped. And I've got guys struggling at the back like Tran. This is now the back end, so oh my gosh, no wonder his mountain rating is terrible. We have 47k to go, and if Tran does not get dropped here, we'll go ahead and throw that arm up in the air. He's already in position where he should be able to just raise his arm. There you go. These guys technically lost contact because of Tran, because of that raising of the arm. And we also have the other group split off. That's back together though. These guys are very much out the back. Probably not going to feature in, so send Shu to get water. Tran, the other four, deciding that it was not worth the effort. Tran trying desperately to get back up there and failing to do so. So he's out. We're down to 6 guys. And that still shows how weak this team is, even after the incredible improvement from where we were a year ago. It's still a team of weaker riders. I mean, this is 7 of our best guys, and we still got guys with mountain ratings in the 50s. And again, the number of 70s we have is quite minimal. Now, it's March. It's late March, so we are a ways into the season, and there is the 13 in the break, which they have been joined by at least 1 or 2 riders from the peloton. So there were attackers that have left this group behind, and you're seeing another attempted attack here. And this is the part that I was telling you that I was concerned about. This is where we definitely want to up the effort and get through this. This is the last one of those before you kind of get into that last rolling hill sector. But there is definitely a chase happening.
Another attack in the leading group.
And the front group is splitting up more and more. And actually we're seeing the peloton really splitting off a chase group with just 41 riders left. We don't have the type of energy, though, to be conducting a chase. Look at what's left. Novar Dianto, Zhu, Lahav, they're done. They are out of energy, and they are in that domestique scenario. And we are actually seeing these guys split off as we cross the finish line here. Novar Dianto also getting split off, and we're down to 3 riders left. Chen, go ahead and protect the leader. Yama, push a little bit harder. Oscar holding fine at the front. It's yo-yoing a bit. The front group was caught, other than 2 riders just ahead, and looks like they're starting to set up, accepting their fate and we're down to just 35. Here is the little hill that presets. It's the beginning of the big hill, but now instead of going up that right fork, we go up the left fork and loop around towards the finish. So we are off that regular circuit. That is a surprising right there, and that's just before the finish line. 1K to the finish line here. Wow, this is a really technical finish from a ways out. So be aware of that as we go into this thing. It's coming back together, and 8 riders are trying to get off the front here. We've got 11K to go, but I've only got the one lead out rider.
A rider is down.
Gel up for Chenji. Yama, get up on Oscar's wheel, so you're ready to go. Those 4 riders are still up ahead. Those 3 are getting lapped, but those are the 4 leaders. Kopechki is the main guy in that group. He's a definite threat. He's a quality rider, but we've got 2 laps to go here. Chenji is going backwards, so Kayama, time to switch your role. You're going to go ahead and protect 7K now. We will push towards the end. Hopefully we can catch those 4. Remember, the main target, though, is a top 10. I'd like to do more. 6K to go. And we are not chasing those guys down right now. We're going to have to start. So Kayama. Yeah, you're seeing others trying to attack. Rabich. Okay, Gel with 4K to go. 4.2K to go. Front 4 are splitting up, and this is the last time on the little climb. So as we get over the top of this, we are pushing into that last little bit of the race where, after you make that left-hander, it's all technical towards the finish line. So pushing on now with Kayama sprinting early, because you can see he's not even sprinting. And Oscar. Okay, one guy, Kopechki, hangs on. He is strong. We're going to get we got our top 10. We've got our top 10. It's not a top 5, though. Zakowski, we needed to go early. Oh, Oscar gets a top 5. Okay, nice. Passed up a few guys. Grabs the top 5. If we started our sprint a little bit sooner with Kayama to set up Oscar, he probably could have gotten a top 3 out of that one. But Kopechki was not going to be beaten. Either way, though, top 5 is a bonus because we needed top 10. While we're still locked in March, the only upgrade we've had on the top end through almost 3 months of the season is now Mispa at 3 stars. You can see he's still got room for growth. Puncher is his primary, and he is now into the 70s with that. So he joins the handful of guys that we have at 3 stars. He's not going to get a lot better from where he's at, but you can see there's still room for growth in his web. I've progressed all the way to May now, and we're already starting to open up the dossiers. The first group of dossiers that I've opened are the guys with the highest overall potential. All of them are 4.5 to 5 star individual discipline potential, and overall, come in at 4 stars. With one of them would be kind of the highest overall current quality rider that we would have brought in thus far, and that's Yamamoto at 3.5 stars current with that 4-star potential. So it's hard to find. I still have yet to find anything beyond 4 stars, but we're trying. We're getting there. I think that's going to become more of a development thing. We're going to have to take a combination of eventually maxed out current ability type right around that 4-star range and get them out there together, get them competitive, and start getting some wins to raise the national profile. That seems like the path. And maybe if we have a bunch of 4-star kind of guys, that's going to get us into Continental Pro, which will get us into big enough races that we can go out and perform and get on a higher level. And that higher level, that's where we'll get where we need to get. It's still looking like a mighty task, but we are just flying through season 2 here, and this episode slightly shorter, but we are all the way to what we need to do. Sponsor confidence, as you can see, is already good. So those national championships will easily push it to 100%. So the one race this year was the one race this year. So next up for us is going to be straight into the signing period, the season 2 signing period. Budget wise, we should once again be able to sign around 10 riders or so, depending on cost, especially like Yamamoto. If he's asking for 10 or less, then I think we should still be able to manage to sign about 10 riders, give or take. And that's good, right? You know, there's a good chance that there's the first 7 already on profile. I think Prasad is on my list as well. Prasad is on my list as well. So we do have this guy over here as our 8th target, and then from the rest of that list, I'll be picking out a few more, but those are the key ones. Yamamoto's the only questionable one because he has no interest right now and is likely to be more expensive in the first place, and I'm not sure we're going to get him all the way up to green. So there's a chance we might have to pass on Yamamoto just because we're playing with that fairly tight budget. Fairly tight. If you want a small team, sure, you can throw 15,000-20,000 at that one guy, but then how many more could I sign? 4, 5? I mean, we're not gonna have that much money to throw around. So if we want to get that diversity of options from different nations and give time for them to develop and become something, we may not necessarily be able to afford a guy like him just yet. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how that turns out in the next episode. That's going to do it for this one, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.